Good morning. My name is Susan Hess, a member of the AASL 2013 Best Websites for Teaching and Learning Committee. Today I'll be interviewing Emily Gore, Director for Content of the Digital Public Library of America, one of our award-winning sites. Hi, Emily.
Hi.
How did this site come into existence?
So the DPLA started really as a lot of folks in the field and libraries, archives, and museums got together and had a significant meeting in 2010 around the concept of building a national digital library. And out of that grew the idea that they would apply for a couple of grants to begin a planning process to engage the library, archive, and museum community in what we want a national digital library to be. So they were successful at getting grants and were able to get grants from both the Sloan Foundation and the Arcadia Fund. And those grants have taken place over the last 2 years, and that has been the planning process, which has been based at the Berkman Center at Harvard. And that planning process has engaged people throughout the country who are professionals in libraries, archives, and museums, and has really helped to form the site as it is now. So it's really taken a couple of years to kind of form what the DPLA could be, where we should potentially start, and the possibilities, of course, after the start. The goal has always been from the planning process to move from planning into project and to transfer and to establish a 501c3 for DPLA, and so that has currently happened. And so now DPLA is an organization that stands alone, that has come out of this planning process. So the site really was the culmination of that planning process for the past couple of years, and the launch of that site in April of this year really kind of set off that the project, the beginning of the project as really its own standalone project. And that's where we are now. We have a small staff. There are just 4 of us at this point, but that's how the site really came to be. It really was a large community effort with representatives throughout the country coming together to discuss possibilities. And what we have now is just the beginning of what was envisioned with what we hope will be much more to come.
I think we in the field are thrilled with the possibilities. What is the one thing about your site that you would like people to take note of?
Sure. So we don't only have a portal, which is the dp.la website. We have an API that people can actually build applications on top of. They can build their own websites if they'd like. So I'd like for people to know that we do have an application programming interface, and that people can, if they have the aptitude to work with an API, they can they can use the data that we have harvested from all of these libraries, archives, and museums throughout the country to create their own portal. They can create applications. We have some wonderful apps on the DPLA website now. If you look at the bottom of the homepage, there's a section called Apps, and those are applications that people in the field have created as a result of the fact that we have an open API. So we're really hopeful that people will take advantage of the fact that we have open data and an open API where you can interface with the content and truly build your own applications or your own websites. Say you're from a particular state or from an area who you might be looking at one specific topic. You could harvest all the resources in the DPLA and build your own portal on that specific topic using the API. So there's tons of possibilities there around the API, and it's something that we definitely want to promote, and we want people to know that we're not just a portal, we're not just a website. We have an open API and open data so that we are open for reuse, basically.
Okay. Is there anything on your site that you wish people knew more about? Any content area or any types of material?
So I think the one thing that I'd love to kind of highlight, if you will, is the exhibits. It's the top link on the right hand side. It's called exhibitions. If you go into those are actually specific topics of broad interest around different topics in U.S. history in particular, that our hubs, who are our content contributors, have worked to build. And they're curated exhibits. They have taken a lot of time to do research. They have full streaming video, audio, high-res images in them, and they're wonderful. They tell wonderful stories of American history, including civil rights and activism. They also talk about there's one on the New Deal, there's one on Prohibition. So there are wonderful topics that represent significant periods in American history, and I think that I definitely want to highlight that a lot of work went into developing those. They're built on the Mecca platform, which is also an open source platform that libraries, archives, and museums use. So again, we're promoting the reuse of open software when at all possible. So that's something I definitely want to highlight are the exhibitions on the website. And please, take a look at those. I think a lot of time was spent curating them, and they're worth a visit.
So what does the future hold? Are there any, let's quickly talk about new developments?
Sure. So first of all, we're certainly going to increase the amount of content that is on the site. We launched with 2.4 million items, and we are already actively in discussions with a number of new content partners who will add new content to the DPLA in the future. So we're going to definitely increase the content. We're going to add some new features to the portal for specific content types. So, like, for example, we're going to add more book content. And when we add more book content, we are potentially going to build a books portal so that you may go to something like books.dp.la and you'll be able to see, you'll be able to browse books in an interactive way, as opposed to just going to dp.la and seeing everything, which you certainly will be able to do. But we are going to break out some specific content types and create different looks and access points for those content types. So we look to potentially do that for books and maybe government documents, and we'll kind of go from there. But the goal is to make the site as user friendly as possible, and breaking out some of that content for use. We've had a lot of comments about the idea that people would like to see more books integrated with the materials that we have, and so that's definitely one area where you're going to see some change. We're going to increase some content, and we'll definitely be bringing in some more books. And
do you plan on keeping the site free?
Absolutely. The site will remain free and open. The goal of the DPLA is one of the main missions of the DPLA is free and open, and that is certainly where we plan to be in the future, is to keep the site free.
Perfect. Well, I want to thank you very, very much for your time, and to tell you that we are very excited about having you as one of our award-winning sites, and we look forward to seeing you at ALA.
Thank you very much, and we're honored that you recognize us in this way.
Thank you very much. Bye.